LinkedIn has massively evolved since June 2016 when Microsoft took it over. It pumped a lot of cash into it and the investment is now really paying off over the last 12 to 24 months. So today's video is just going to take you through 7 ways that you can up your game on LinkedIn to get better return, better reach, better leads, all the things that we want when we spend time on LinkedIn. So let's go. So up to a couple of years ago, you could just very blandly chuck out your content and broadcast away on LinkedIn and say, hi, here's my latest blog post, link. Hi, here's an event I'm running, link. And people would, if you were lucky, click on it and you didn't get penalised by the algorithm for doing so. But LinkedIn, like a lot of the other social media sites, really wants you to stay and build community within their own site. So now it does penalise you if you're still putting links within the main body of the post. So the easiest tip is that you'll have seen, no doubt, with other people's posts is that you put the link in the comments as opposed to the body of the post itself. That said, I have seen conflicting research recently that suggests that actually what you can do is put up the post without the link, and then a couple of minutes later, once it's been published, go back in, edit that post and add the link in. And that won't get penalised because LinkedIn only scan in your first post that you put up and not further edits afterwards. So that could be a trick that you want to try and see if that has an impact positively or negatively on the reach of your posts. So 2 methods that you can use there to make sure you're not losing out on reach. So tip 2 is to talk about post style. And there's 2 things within this tip that I want to talk about. The first one is that LinkedIn and users of LinkedIn have moved much more to a story-led basis of posting. So whereas 2-3 years ago you'd go, hi, here's my new blog post about utilising LinkedIn. That's not good enough anymore now for LinkedIn. What you need to do is take some or all of that blog post. You've got up to 1,200 characters in a personal profile post to play with. So you need to take elements of that, put that into your post, tell a bit of a story with it, and then ask a question to try and get engagement. And again, that helps you because if you're asking a question, people are more likely to respond and engage back with you, which is then good for the algorithm, which is then good for the ripple effect and the reach, because LinkedIn will view you again as an engager, trying to keep people within LinkedIn rather than push them off. And you can still keep the link to your blog posts within the comments on LinkedIn, as per my last tip, for example. So that's the first point about post style. Post style, you can't just broadcast, you need to engage, have a conversation, tell a story. The second part of it is what media type you use. Video now is hugely popular. It certainly gets really good airtime on LinkedIn. There's some argument out there that it's starting to wane a little bit, but we'll see whether that's the case or not. It's certainly not been the case for me. For anyone that's seen my videos, I've had huge reach with my videos, way more than I get with my written posts. And the leads that I've got have come directly from my videos as opposed to my written work, which I think backs up my videos really. So that's why I do a mixture of the 2. So you need to keep your videos. They can be up to 10 minutes long. And often mine are because I waffle for Britain, but I do try and space that out with a few 1.5 minute videos because people just want really small digestible chunks of information these days. So make it ideally 1 minute long, up to 10 minutes long, but most importantly, make sure you're using a subtitling software to make sure people can read what's being said in the video without them having to turn the volume on, because most people still won't listen with volume on when they're on LinkedIn. So don't go through all the pain of making a video, editing it or making it sound really good and then not putting subtitles. You're absolutely shooting yourself in the foot if you don't include subtitles. Tip 3, and this is one I'm so excited about. It's okay to show personality on LinkedIn at last. I always really struggled with LinkedIn for years, and I've been on it for 12-13 years, and I do think a large part of it was because it was just so dry and factual, and here's my blog post, what do people think about this? And I'm a quite exuberant kind of person. I like to be a bit sassy. I'm very sarcastic, so I was always I trod very gingerly around LinkedIn because I thought if I show any personality, people will misread what I've said and they'll be offended. Whereas actually on LinkedIn now, showing personality is actually a real positive for standing out from the crowd. So, you know, people actually use emoticons and crazy stuff like that. And I'm not saying all of anyone watching this video should be using emoticons. It depends on who you are as a person, what kind of business you've got. You know, it's much more acceptable if you're a funky fashion brand than if you're a really traditional chartered accounting practice. But is it okay to use them? Yeah, it really is. Don't go overkill on them still. But for me, it's a great way for me to actually inject more personality into what I'm putting out there. And also, especially when you're doing a really long written post, it just spaces up all the written stuff. So when people are skim reading, it just breaks it up. So even if you only use it for like bullet points, using like a little tick icon, for example, or an arrow, or an exploding icon, or something like that, it does just add something. And at the end of the day, remember that LinkedIn, like all social media, it's not B2B, B2C, I do talk about that in other videos. It's P2P or H to H, person to person or human to human. People buy from people, full stop. And certainly, I love getting my personality across more on LinkedIn now, and it's definitely attracting the right kinds of clients to me, because if the way I am, either with my emoticon use or how I am in my videos, annoys people, upsets people, rubs them up the wrong way, that's absolutely fine. We're not here to please everyone, but obviously we wouldn't get on as clients. So if I've already screened them out before they've even sent me a lead, saves me time, saves them time, and it does mean the clients that I end up getting are usually absolutely A1. Hashtags. Now I cover this in a different video, so I'm only going to point you to that video. So if you're watching this on LinkedIn, if you search by hashtag Jan Adams Social in the search bar above, you'll see all of my videos that I've done so far on LinkedIn, and you'll be able to find the LinkedIn hashtags one on there really easily. If you're on YouTube, then just look within my channel, you'll be able to find the LinkedIn hashtags one really easily as well. But yeah, LinkedIn hashtags just didn't exist 4 or 5 years ago, because until Twitter made them trendy, no one used them. And unlike Facebook, when Facebook introduced hashtags and failed miserably and nobody really uses them, on LinkedIn they've taken off really, really well. And there are literally 7 or 8 different kinds of hashtags you need to consider about putting in your posts. You want about 3 per post, preferably at the bottom of the post. And yeah, there's about 7, 8, even 9 types of hashtags that you need to do research from, because people search and follow hashtags on LinkedIn a lot. So don't miss out in terms of getting in front of new audiences by not using hashtags or using the wrong ones. So I'll just reiterate, please go and find my video on LinkedIn hashtags. It will be well worth you having a look at that and doing some work around hashtags. Let's talk search. One of the best things, I'd even go as far as to say sexiest things about LinkedIn. Never thought I'd put those words in a sentence together, but it's good. It's LinkedIn search. So LinkedIn search allows you to find anyone you want and who knows who. So if I had no clients, I don't, I've got lots, but if I needed clients, the first thing I would do is go to the LinkedIn search bar, and I would search by the job titles of the people who would be my decision makers to bring me into their business. So normally it would be the owner of the business, managing director, or marketing manager if they're a traditional marketing manager and they want help and support on the digital side. So let's say I search by marketing manager in the search bar. Then what happens is LinkedIn comes back worldwide with all marketing managers all around the world, and there'll be 3.4 million of them, let's say. So that's quite a long list, not very helpful. But then on that search results page, you get lots of filter options, including searching by industry, by level of connection. So I automatically then, I don't bother looking at my first level connections. I'm already connected to them, although it could be worth revisiting some of those. It's my second level connections that are the most powerful. Why? Well, because there will be a bit of a warmer audience because I've got mutual connections on LinkedIn, and I can either get my mutual connection to introduce me to that person or give me some inside info if I approach that marketing manager. Or if I then contact that marketing manager, I can say, oh, hi, yeah, I spotted on LinkedIn that you knew Bob, blah, blah, blah. And it just helps to advance relationships basically, and helps to open doors that may otherwise remain shut. So please, if you're not using LinkedIn search, please start using it, because especially if you need clients, because it's a really, really good way to see who knows who and get into your target audience really quickly and really effectively.